Good evening, everyone. So tonight we are just going to go over a bit of a PSA I have for those of us who sit too long, especially in our modern day and age. Whether you're someone who works at a desk for work, sits at home for stretches of time in your downtime, or are playing games or any sort of activity where you are sitting down for long stretches of time, no pun intended. Um, I have a recommendation. And for me personally, I implemented this years and years ago. I wish I implemented this. I wish I did more stretching when I was a teenager or even like a preteen. I wish that I was stretching earlier on in my life. I think it would have been extraordinarily beneficial. But, anyways, once I did realize the power of taking even 1 to 2 minute breaks from a static position like sitting to mobilize my body, it in a way it kind of changed everything. It is incredibly beneficial. So before I go into, I'm going to give 4 recommendations of specific stretches, or at least 4 types of stretches that I believe encompass most of the lower body stretches that one would want to do. But before I get into that, just a quick thing here. We're not really built well or designed well to sit for long stretches of time day in and day out and not suffer some sort of physical consequence of that. The glutes, our glute muscles, tend to shut off and turn off and sort of deactivate the more that we sit. And there are a whole host of other problems associated with sitting for long periods of time. But some people suffer from back pain. In my personal practice, I've helped a lot of people overcome back pain, knee pains, knee issues, things like this. Um, but some people suffer over the long run from back pain, and part of that could be associated just from a lifestyle decision of sitting for longer than your body can tolerate. Um, so that's why it's important to take mini breaks that are very effective at reversing the negative effects of that sitting. Because in our sort of modern world, it's really easy for us to end up sitting for hours a day. So, with that being said, I'm going to gloss over, let's call them 4 main muscle groups through the lower body, and then 4 associated types of stretches. Now, here's what I won't do in this video, because my goal right now is to make daily videos. That's a sort of rule of thumb I'm applying to myself to remain consistent. But in the future, I would like to do things like overlay on this video, overlay on me talking, sort of snippets of stretches as, I guess, what you would call like B-roll footage, or I suppose, and make it a little bit nicer that way. But for today, that's not in the cards. So um, forgive me, but I want to get better at that sort of thing in the near future. Okay, you have your glutes, you got your quads, your hamstrings, and your calves. Okay, you can basically think of those as the 4 main muscle groups through your lower body, right? So, and for the time being, since I'm not going to provide the visuals, I'm just describing this right now, right? The main purpose of this video is to sort of provide a call to action for you to consider implementing this. If you want to Google what a sitting piriformis stretch is, it's a really good stretch. Okay, you can do it at your desk or at your chair at home if that's the path of least resistance. Then you can do that, or you can do what I actually even like a bit more than the seated version, is a laying piriformis stretch. I find that to be incredibly therapeutic. Feels great. So that takes care of, let's just call it the glutes. Let's just say that sort of addresses the glutes. It's not perfect, okay? But for the sake of the layperson, this will do. A couch stretch is incredibly effective, but you have to do it the right way. In a way, you have to know what you're doing. But if you look into it with a little bit of further research, and I'll do my best to describe it now, a couch stretch is incredibly beneficial for your hip flexors. Okay, it'll really help open up and stretch your hip flexors. Okay, I'm a big fan of that. My recommendation: put something like a pillow under your knee If you look up on Google what the stretch looks like, it'll become clear to you. There are modifications you can implement. There are different types of quad and hip flexor stretches you can choose to do instead, depending on your physical capacity and where you feel like you are at. But that is one that I want to give a shout out to for sort of the hip flexor region. And then also, the third one is going to be like a seated hamstring stretch. Tell you what, I will. Okay, you won't be able to see me do this, but I'm going to try to describe it. Okay. What I do for like 30 to 60 seconds at least, maybe 1 to 2 minutes, is I have some boxes under this table here. Okay. And what I'll do, now you can't really see me do it, but I'm propping up one of my heels onto a box. The box is probably about a foot high off the ground. And so now I've sort of already loaded my hamstring into a stretch position by elevating my heel. My knee is mostly extended right now instead of being completely bent with my heel on the ground. Okay. And now if I lean forward, I'll lean forward here a little bit. If you can imagine this, or if you want to try to do it step by step yourself to feel this stretch. When I lean forward, I'm going to get a nice hamstring stretch through the side of which my leg is elevated. And I can basically sort of floss in and out of here and sort of oscillate in and out of this stretch. And I don't even really have to move. Let's say you're in a seated position like I am making this video right now, right? I don't even have to get up and go somewhere else and set up into a stretch. I don't have to go into another room. I don't have to go to a facility. I can even just perform a productive stretch while sitting. And I know the point of this is to advise against sitting so much, but you know, this is kind of the next best thing. If you are already sitting, you can actually do stretches that are very therapeutic. So I would refer to this as a seated hamstring stretch. And then the last one is let's say a calf stretch using the stairs. If you have any sort of stairs in your home or nearby. So I know it's almost more complicated for me to describe it than for you to just sort of look up sort of a stair calf stretch, but I'm doing my best to describe it for now. Okay. You can basically have both your feet on that step at the same time and pick one at a time for a few seconds at a time to stretch. You sit the heel down below the level of the stair step for like 3, 5, 10 seconds, right? As you exhale, dip that heel down, right? And the other heel is up, right? And then sort of exhale. And then the opposite foot, the heel sits down below the level of the stair step. And then you just alternate feet every out breath, every exhale, right? So I know, again, I'm just describing it instead of demonstrating it, but I wanted to gloss over this. The videos will get better in the future. For the few of you who have stuck around till the end, I'm always going to tell you this. I do appreciate you listening. If you have, constructive criticism or you have comments or questions, I am very engaging in the comments. I plan to be for the foreseeable future. In the long run, I'd like to be able to reply to all comments as much as possible. It's especially easy now because there's not too many, but the ones that are there, I really enjoy engaging and interacting with you guys. So that's it for tonight. Yeah, if you have any questions, that's what the comment section is for. I'd be happy to help clarify things. And if you want to talk about anything, feel free there. All right. Much love. Hope you're taking care of yourself. Have a good night. I will see you in the next video. Peace.